Welcome to the Digital Marketing Insights podcast, brought to you by Brightside Digital.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. I'm delighted to say we have Lisandra here today, who's a public relations and marketing specialist. Lisandra, how are you doing?
I'm good, Tom. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Lisandra, can we start off the show by you telling our audience a little bit about yourself and your career to date, please?
Yes, so I am a Brazilian girl. I studied public relations and I started working with marketing like very early in my studies. I used to work with bank in Brazil when I was like 19 and decided to go to study communications. I always knew I wanted to study communications because I talk too much. And then decided to study public relations because I used to work with events when I was like very young and I used to love it. But then life changes a lot and I ended up working with a publicist. Then he was partner of a marketing agency and he put me there. I was in my first year of college, and I've learned like everything I knew, like everything I know now about marketing and digital marketing there. And it was just the beginning for Brazil on politicians getting votes from ads and stuff on internet. So that was like the biggest thing happening, and I got to experience everything that was happening. And because of this experience of learning with the agency about digital marketing when it was just growing, and in the politician area, I ended up working with mayor for 2 years just before I come to Ireland. So then after that, after I worked with this mayor for 2 years, I actually realized that public relations and digital marketing have everything to do. You know, when you're working with the image of the company in the internet, it's very good to have this knowledge that the public relations have about how to behave, how to show yourself, how to translate the identity of your brand to the internet. And I just came here and started studying English in Ireland and decided to do honors honors course in international marketing. And then now I'm working with New Galway. And yeah, it's basically kind of it. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. And in terms of your strengths in digital now, what do you see as your main strength in what you do?
I would say my main strength is to be able to really understand the identity of a company and bring this, translate this to the digital world. Because there's not a specific way that you have to talk in the internet. There's like many ways you can like bring information that you can translate yourself on the internet. So I think that's my main strength is to be able to have this vision, this complete vision of what this company is and what they want to bring to their customers and help them to translate this in something that works for internet, for social media, for website and everything else.
Fantastic. So you're kind of coming from a branding point of view. You're quite good at identifying the company branding tone and strategy from there on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And in terms of your biggest successes to date, what's a really good campaign or work that you've done to kind of identify that?
I think like my biggest success was the mayor campaign when I was in Brazil. So it was everything was really new. So everyone was like trying to figure out exactly how to do it. This mayor is a mayor of like a smaller city just beside my city. I'm from São Paulo, and São Paulo is like huge. We have 13 million people living there, and this smaller city happens to be almost as big as. and we got him to be elected. And then after that, we came from like a social media person that was not, he was not a politician at all before this, so he had like no public image at all. And then we brought him from like a non-existing Facebook platform that was the biggest thing by then, to over 70,000 people following, and then just went growing and growing. Like over 2 years, we did a lot for his image and making him actually like appear in the internet as a super modern politician for the city.
That's incredible. He grew to 70,000 followers on which particular platform?
Facebook.
Okay, and it, what kind of campaigns do you think or content that he was particularly doing that made that public speaker so popular or engaging out there?
It was a lot of video, like live content. We had like those live sessions where he would talk with the public, and it was like a lot of prep to make him like feel confident enough, because the talking in the internet is just really tough. You're not actually looking at the person, so they're gonna act the way they want to act. There's no filter there. And but I feel like that was what grew his platform so fast, was being there, putting his face there, showing up all the time and it was an age that, like, for internet, no one would be showing themselves so much. Like, the stories was just starting and in on Instagram, so people were not used to just go and make videos about them all the time in their daily life, or just like go live and talk with people, even more politicians. So I think that was what helped the most.
That's really interesting. I can imagine it'd be quite hard to market for someone, in a political space, and obviously a mayor is someone that has quite a big influence in a city. So, was there policies that you had to work with? How did you market that side of things?
Yeah, everything had to be approved by like a table of people. So I think that was like my main difficulty to get things approved, was like so many people involved on any campaign that we wanted to do. And of course, we had to like have filters for like specific things couldn't be said, or people like, even like, if someone was asking a question with a certain tone, we had to filter those kind of things. It was like um, it was like just always being always paying attention in what's happening in the internet. Like, I couldn't turn off for a minute. So my phone would be every time, like, I would be always receiving messages and stuff, and I would have to actually look at them, because to make sure that I could see what's happening in the city, and fill fill up the mayor with the information. And then, like, protocol wise, I was kind of free because it was just me. I was the only social media working for him. They had like social media working for the city hall, and I was the only one for him. And we had like this relationship where would work together, help each other, but we had to work separately. I couldn't use like the designers of the city hall to do stuff for the mayor, because like technically I was working just for him. I was hired just to work for him, which was good because I got to learn so much about design, because I had to do this stuff myself. So I I would learn from the designers there, but I couldn't like actually get them to do this stuff for me. But I had like some freedom.
And looking at yourself, is there any particular areas you're working on to try and upskill and learn more about in your space?
Yeah. So I fell in love with, like, I've always been involved with art since I was a little kid, but never thought this could be something to bring like to a professional side. And then once I started working with marketing, and I ended up in a particular field, which is like now I'm educational, but educational, politics, government, they are kind of similar in a way. So I thought I would never be able to change this. But I started studying about digital art and the field of gaming and how much this is growing in marketing and in social media. And I'm heading to this side now. I'm trying to upskill a little bit about design and um digital art in general, so I can actually move towards this area, you know.
Back to your kind of your branding work and maybe touching on some of your previous work in the bank or that mayor campaign you're working on. Is there any softwares you fall back on for either analytics, reporting side of things, or anything that enhances your role?
Yeah, honestly, Hootsuite is being with me like forever. I remember using Hootsuite since my first job in marketing. And since now I still think is the platform that is more complete. It has everything. You have your analytics, you have your programming, you have calendar, you have everything in one platform. So it's I think that if you like if you don't have too much budget, you have to choose one software. Hootsuite is the one, you know, that helps to do every basically everything you need. And like there is a little bit of you being organized yourself to make sure you have a workflow that helps you to like create content in a daily basis and not get overwhelmed with the amount of things you have to do. But Hootsuite can really help a lot because you have the visual of like every each platform and how with all the specifics of each of them that you have to achieve for your content to succeed.
Brilliant. And is there any other softwares or work that you use that you always refer to?
Yeah, I use a lot of Canva now as well, for like for design. And I've been working with a little bit with Campaign Monitor. It's something new for me now, but I thought it's a really it's a really easy to learn platform. You know, like you can find everything super fast there. Um, so yeah, I think those two are the newest platforms for me that I've been working the most.
Fantastic. And looking at the digital industry as a whole, is there anything that really excites you that might be coming in the future?
Yeah, I think like I think we are walking towards the video life, you know. Like no one reads anymore, no one like paying much attention in pictures anymore. It's just video content is taking over the whole internet, and I'm very curious about how this is going to turn for companies that don't have the service that they can see themselves on being like on TikTok or Reels, creating those fast videos and funny videos, and how they're gonna adapt to that. Because I feel like there is still a little bit of a resistance in certain areas to actually uh, release, you know, the tension when it comes to content and be a little bit more fun and be a little bit more entertaining. Understand the difference between uh, selling content that sells and content that make your audience to be faithful to you, to be always following you. And I think that's what excites me the more is that the internet now, because of these changes, these videos, it's like molding how the company has to react. It's not anymore company creating content that they think is good. It's the people saying what they want, and the company has to adapt to like actually achieve those expectations. You know.
Do you find yourself spending more time on TikTok and Instagram and things like that? Have you noticed your habits or what they're trying to do there?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I even think I spend too much time in Reels now. I'm not as much like addicted to TikTok the way I am to Reels now. I think just because I was always so used to Instagram, so because of my generation, I didn't get to like really experience TikTok as much. Like I don't spend as much time there, but Reels definitely. I just spend like so much hours looking and scrolling and saving so much stuff as well. It's like my brain is always picking trends and stuff that can be used in the future, and I'm like, even if in my own platforms, I'm always looking at trendy and sending to myself so I make sure that I can use this in the future.
That's really interesting. So, really, I think you're making the point as well that the likes of Reels and TikTok, those kind of short snippet videos are the most engaging on social media and need to be focused on a lot more from a business point of view.
Yes, definitely. I think that's where the attention is, and that's where all the platforms are moving towards. And also, like after Instagram released the news that they want to become now a company focused on video, and they want people to create video content. We already know they're gonna prioritize video content, and if you don't do it, it's just you're gonna be outdated. So I think that that's where we are moving for, and it's really exciting because there's so much that can be done. It feels like everything is being done, but it's not. There's so many possibilities when it comes to video content. Even if you have if you're a photographer, for example, there's so much you can show in video from your process. So you go from showing just that specific final product to all the process to get there, and then bringing all your specialities and all the knowledge you have to do to get that result. And this is only possible if you have video content. It's not going to have the same effect if you write a big text, and it's not going to be the same effect if you just show a picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, completely. And lastly, Lysandra, we always ask the same question on the show, which is if you could bottle up one personality trait that you have yourself that you could pass on to others, what would it be?
I would say is to be persistent. To I'd say like I'm the kind of person that when I settle my mind in doing something, I never give up. Um, and I'm always like trying to find. I'm not. It's not that I am stubborn. I'm really persistent. Like I find different ways to achieve the same uh, objective at the end. So I think if I could pass this on to other people, would be like just don't give up. Sometimes things looks very hard. Looks that there's no solution, but there's definitely something. You just have to be patient and keep trying.
That's a brilliant answer. Lysandra, what a beautiful way of ending the show. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. Thank you so much for sharing your story and insight.
Thank you very much for having me. I had a lot of fun.